The following program does not necessarily reflect the opinions and viewpoints of the staff and management of this station.
Welcome to the wonderful world of seniors, the best of all worlds. You now have the time, resources, and ability to enjoy what you have worked for all your life. So let's explore the many possibilities available to seniors on Senior World Radio. Senior World Radio is your source for senior citizens-related topics, information, and entertainment. Now, here is your host of Senior World Radio, Glen Howard.
Glen Miller, the great American band musician, wrote songs like In the Mood, Moonlight Serenade, Chattanooga Choo Choo, and Little Brown Jug. Unfortunately, while he was traveling to entertain U.S. troops in France during World War II, his aircraft disappeared in bad weather over the English Channel. So when I got a call about a Glen Miller living in Welston, I was anxious to learn more and discovered a remarkable gentleman, 94 years of age, who was not a famous musician, but had an interesting story to tell. Glen Miller, a farmer from Welston, I guess a native of Oklahoma. Glen, glad you take a little bit of time to visit with me today.
Yep.
First of all, tell me just a little bit about yourself. Are you a married man?
I think so.
Yeah, really? How long you been married?
74 years.
74 years. And so you got married when you were 20 years of age?
Yeah.
94 now.
Yeah.
Are you a native Oklahoman?
Well, in 1924, somebody called the doctor at Sparks. And he got in his horse and buggy and come out to my grandpa's house, and my mom was there. And when he left me.
How about that? In Sparks, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Where's Sparks? Is that in?
Well, it's right straight east here, about 10 miles.
So Welston, or this county, is truly your home, isn't it?
I went to school at Chandler's county seat.
Yeah.
Dad bought a farm on this road about 7 miles east of here, 1927.
1927. So where'd your dad come from? Was he...
Well, you heard of Sooner Boomers.
Yeah.
He was the first Sooner Boomer in Oklahoma.
Really?
Cause my grandpa was a boomer, Sooner.
Okay.
And he went to Guthrie and met the Sooners when they come in. And there was a young girl in there, and he married her, and she was a boomer. Does that make my dad the first Sooner boomer in Oklahoma?
How about that? I would think he'd come awful close to it.
He was born in that was 89 when the boomers come in, and he was born in 91.
So when did your family first come to Oklahoma? Was it a grandfather or father or who?
My grandfather was a Sooner. Come from Ohio.
Okay.
And my grandmother.
When was that?
Well, if it was a Sooner, they shot the fire that told them they could come to Oklahoma.
Made the run.
Sooner would be before that.
Okay.
And he got caught and didn't get any land.
So he was a part of the land run, but was too late and missed the run, huh?
Too early. Too early.
Oh, too early. Okay.
See, he got down here. He thought he'd come down here and look things over and pick him out of.
All right.
They had it staked off.
Mm-hmm.
And all he'd have to do when they shot the shot is get him a good farm and have it already located, but it didn't work.
So that's one time when being too early didn't work.
No.
So you have been an Okie all your life. In fact, you've been an Okie longer than Oklahoma has, haven't you?
Yeah. I think they had, seven lieutenant governors. Oklahoma become a state, in 7?
Oh, 1906, I think.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I wasn't born until 20.
Okay.
And they dug a deep Fork River right down across Lincoln County for 30 miles. And I was just off from it a half a mile, and she was just downriver about 5 miles downstream.
Something like.
Downstream.
So I'm sure the education system wasn't very good back in those days. Where'd you go to school?
Well, there's a little old country school, Red Oak, just up this side of Chandler. They had country schools.
Yeah. Good old one-room school.
Yeah. And we drove a pony hooked to a cart for 3 miles to go to school.
Beach walking.
And, yeah. And I stayed there till 27, then I went to Union School, which is right straight east of here, between here and Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
After Dad bought the farm down there.
Okay. So you grew up here on a farm, found you a lovely wife, and then did you go to the military after that, or did you go to military before you got married?
Well, you remember they didn't take care of the land.
Yeah. In fact, the Dust Bowl was a result of them coming in and breaking up all the land and letting the wind blow it away, wasn't it?
Well, but you didn't even mention the floodwater.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Well, they plowed the land up and terraced it, and if you plow up sandy land, that causes a dust bowl.
Uh-huh.
But the water will cause the soil to wash away.
All right.
And they was probably more washed away than there was blew away.
I didn't know that.
Well, I'm not for sure that it's right, but this farm, when we bought it, was full of ditches that was caused by the water. And you'd have to be, when I went to school at Union, south of the schoolhouse was a big sandy field, and it was plowed up. And the sand blew across there until you couldn't drive down the road. It piled so much sand in the road. Stopped along fence lines, you know. Go north, there was brush. There wasn't any sand at all. Go on around the corner, and there was bare spots that didn't grow a bit of grass, that was washed out, full of ditches. So I would say water and wind.
Sounds to me like you're one of the original soil conservationists. Back before it was a popular term.
You know what happened to the soil conservation?
What's that?
I mean, what started it?
What's that?
Well, when I went to high school, there was a guy come and put on his show. His name was Will Rogers.
Yeah.
And he traveled the country through, and he said that the people was starving to death because the soil had washed and blown away.
Yeah.
So he went to President Roosevelt,
Mm-hmm.
and they said that have to start a program. So they started a New Deal.
All right.
Which consists of taking Social Security out, saving your money so you could retire. You know that?
Yeah.
And then the CC camp boys, they started digging Bermuda grass roots and planting them so the wind wouldn't blow the soil away and the water wouldn't wash it away. We were planting Bermuda grass roots. Well, they went on a few years, and the war broke out, and CC camp boys all went to the Army. And then they started soil conservation. And when I come back from the service, and we'll come over here and look, you couldn't get across that over here on a tractor even, on this side of the place. And we was going to start working on it after I got out of the Army and everything. And our daughter said she wanted to build a house over here. So we gave her 300 by 500. And I thought, well, I'll plant the Bermuda grass since they're going to build a house here. And called the soil conservation to bring a planter out. They said, we don't have anybody to bring it out. And I said, that was 9 o'clock one morning, and I said, I don't need anybody to.
You'll become your own soil conservation.
I'll come get it if you tell me where it's at. And he said, we can't do that. We have to have somebody to manage the equipment.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, what you need to do is hire me. So my pay started at 8 o'clock that morning. I called at 9. It started at 8 o'clock, and I was soil conservation manager for 10 years.
So the day before, you couldn't do it, but the day after, you were officially hired to do it, huh?
Yeah. And they had a board meeting that night and hired me, too.
Right.
And I stayed 10 years.
Glenn, we got to take a break for a moment. We're going to be coming right back. So, folks, stay with me.
Have you ever had a problem, but it seemed like there was no one who could help? You spent hours calling around, being referred from one place to the next. Well, not anymore. I want to tell you about a free and easy-to-use service in Oklahoma. 211 is a simple 3-digit phone number to get help or to give help when you don't know where to turn. Dialing 211 only takes a minute, and you are connected with a caring Oklahoman who will help you find the assistance you've been looking for. With access to over 13,000 programs, Heartline 211 can connect you to local resources for many different needs, including health care, food, counseling, rent assistance, disability assistance, job services, and much more. 211 is a service of Heartline, a United Way partner agency. 211, the right first call to get help or give help 24 hours a day.
Hi, my name's Jason Ledlow, president of UT Phone, the ultimate telephone service. We're proud to be a sponsor of Senior World Radio with Glen Howard. UT Phone is dedicated to providing Oklahomans affordable telephone service all across our great state. We have Lifeline home phone service starting at just $1.95. That's right, just $1.95, and most of Oklahoma's seniors qualify for this reduced home phone service. They get to keep their old home phone number, and it even includes long distance. Another great feature of UT Phone's customers really like is that it includes repair service. That's right, any repairs at no additional charge. With many telephone services charging $40 to $50 per month, it makes sense to switch your service to UT Phone. This service is a federal program that is provided through the Universal Service Fund. There is only one per household, so make it UT Phone's home phone service for $1.95. Give us a call at 800-996-0098. Again, call 800-996-0098.
Glenn Miller, 94 years of age, living in Welston, Oklahoma, landed in Tokyo after the war, whose purpose was to destroy the Japanese army. An incredible guy to talk to.
I was drafted, and I spent, MacArthur said, I shall return.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when I got my basic training finished, then I come home for 2 weeks before I had to ship overseas. And while I was home, Did you ever hear them drop an atomic bomb?
I sure do. Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah. And we got up, they dropped the one on, the second one on 9th of August.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
And on the 10th of August, I got up and she said to me, "You reckon we'll ever spend another night together?" It looked pretty rough, you know.
Yeah.
So I got on a train and headed for California. They didn't tell you where you was going and what you was going for those
That's
days.
the Army.
And looked out the window in Mexico, and people went crazy. I mean, they was running the streets, and never seen such a people that throwing such a wall fit. Well, there was a sailor on there that had radio or something, and he said the Japanese general called ceasefire before I got to California. And we went on to California, and there was 1,000 of us lined up in the chow room, and there was about 100 Italian prisoners.
Right.
And they said, "Well, let the prisoners go first." That didn't go over too good. But they went, and then after the way it went, we eat. And
So the prisoners got fed before the U.S. troops.
yeah.
That's an Army's way of doing things, I guess.
Well, it's a polite way.
Right.
If it had been them treating us that way, it had been different. But anyhow,
So then they put you on a ship and sent you to a...
they didn't tell you where you was going. I mean, I got on a ship and went out from under the, the little country over there don't belong anywhere, where the prison camps is, under the
Right.
Golden Gate Bridge. I was on there for 20-some days, and MacArthur was 3 days ahead of me. And got to Manila. They said, "This is as far as we're going, you get off here." They didn't tell us where we was going or nothing. "This is as far as we're going, you get off here."
I've been in that bay at Manila many times.
And we got on a train, and every town between, what is it, camp you mentioned a minute ago about, it's several towns down from Manila.
Okay.
And the campground, there was nothing there, but they had cleared everything off, and a bunch of tents set up, and thousands of us landed there. And but on the way down there, there was people 30 feet wide. It was from one end of that train to the other, and they were saying something, but they had 2 fingers sticking up, and they was glad to see us.
Glad you, that's right.
And
The Filipinos were very happy to see the Americans after.
well, and see, this was just less than a month after the war was, they said.
Officially over.
Well, really, it hadn't been over. It wasn't officially over till MacArthur got over there about the 3rd of September.
Okay.
And they officially signed peace treaty.
And now a lot of your time, though, was spent on over actually in Japan, was it not?
Well, I was there. I joined the 32nd Division.
Okay.
And I was there 2 or 3 weeks. And they gave us a unit citation because I joined the 32nd Division, and the 32nd Division was the one that took the radio out to the general. And when he heard it was a-coming, he said ceasefire because we was coming out to bring him a radio. And I talked to the guys that seen that general come up that was standing there with the rifles and by the hundreds, and he changed clothes and come on up and talked to the general. Now, that day that it was over, I wasn't in the world that day because we had our time. We set it back 30 minutes a day, and we got to hear set it ahead 24 hours. So I missed the third of the day the war was over. I missed it, but we was there, and they up to that camp. They called up 25 truckloads of men out, and the closest friend I had that went through basic training with him, he got on the truck and left. And I went on to Japan. And what we had to do over there is see that, make sure, they said they'd destroy all the equipment. And we went over there to make sure they did, and all I had to do was just watch them destroy it.
So basically the mission was to destroy the military equipment of Japan after
That's
the war.
what they agreed to do with MacArthur.
Okay.
So they sunk their ships, burned up their airplanes, burned up everything from out of their barracks, throwed it on the fire and burned it up, and they was a whole bunch of parachutes, thousands of them. So I cut a little corner off and sent it to them and said, "Is this material any good? Could you use it?" She was so,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, that's a good silk." So I sent her a couple of parachutes. And then we had to guard them rifles and everything, all of that thing until they could throw it in the ocean. And it took time, to throw all that stuff in the ocean. And we walked guard duty around them buildings until they'd have time to destroy it.
How did the Japanese people treat you after the war when you came into Japan?
Well, we had, just before we got to Japan, they gave us a backpack full of hand grenades and ammunition, gave us a loaded M1 rifle, and I went through the shipyards, and they was cleaning out the restrooms, and got out on Main Street and threw up a little bit. I mean, it was bad. They was cleaning out that waste, human waste out of that's what they done, put on their gardens. And walked around less than an hour, and we stacked them rifles up, and took our ammunition and hand grenades and on our backpacks and piled them up in a pile, and never went back and picked them up.
So you did not feel any danger from the Japanese people after the war? There was no hostilities toward the Americans who had defeated them?
Well, we moved into the Japanese barracks. They sent the Japanese soldiers home.
Right.
And we moved into the Japanese. They had we had to painted some barracks and stuff and fixed them up. First thing was put in American-style restrooms, and then they come and worked with us. Start painting at the bottom and go to the ceiling. And my dad said start at the top and come down, but we went to the bottom and went up. And if we wanted to get on a streetcar, we got on. And if there wasn't room on there, the Japanese would hang on the steps. You know, we was priority. And
you had won the war.
Well, they didn't have any guns.
Right.
And they didn't, and we didn't either. We didn't have to carry guns. We just felt as free and no harm at all. Worked with them. Actually, the soldiers got real too close to the Japanese, closer than they should have.
Glen, it's so interesting talking with you. We could continue this discussion all day long. I appreciate so much, first of all, your service. You had a remarkable 94 years farming out here in Welston. I think your stories about the Philippines is exciting to me because I was in Manila for 7 years myself. Also in Tokyo, being involved in destroying the Japanese army. Your love of soil conservation, your great family, your history. But we've run out of time. Appreciate so much everyone's listening to us. Be sure and join me again this same time next week. We're going to be coming back with another incredible Oklahoma, a story about some of our seniors who have done such wonderful things. But until then, be sure and be kind to everybody you meet. Do something very special for somebody and especially for yourself, and then join me again this same time next week. Till then, be good. See you later. Bye-bye.